The bonding cords were already knotted around my wrist and hers when the wrongness struck me like a blade turned inward. And I knew, with the whole of my wolf, that I stood beside the wrong woman. Lady Saril of the River Thrones was fair and gracious, and her hand rested in mine as the rite required. But her hand was cool and unfamiliar, a stranger's weight, and every part of me recoiled from it as a body recoils from a wound. My wolf, silent for years, rose in me snarling one word that was not a word, not her, not her, not her. And beneath that refusal, low and certain as a heartbeat, came a pull. It dragged at my ribs toward the north transept, toward a small side door still swinging on its hinge, where someone had just slipped out into the snow. I knew who. Before my mind formed her name, my blood had already spoken it. Ewan. The healer, the quiet one who set my broken pack brother's bones and asked nothing, who had lived within my own walls at Greyharrow for 4 winters while I looked past her toward alliances and borders and the highborn bride who would strengthen my line. I had chosen Saril for the treaty her father offered. I had chosen with my head, and my wolf had let me, because I had never once let it near enough to Ewan to learn the truth. Now the truth had me by the throat, at the altar, with 200 witnesses and the joining cord binding me to the wrong hand. I did not finish the rite. I turned to Saril and I told her, quietly, so it stayed between us and the priest, that I could not speak the vow, that it would be a lie against the fate that had just named itself, and that she deserved a mate whose wolf did not scream when she touched him. I braced for fury. Instead, her eyes went soft with something like relief, and she drew her own hand from mine before I could, and said she had felt the coldness too and been too proud to name it. We ended the betrothal honorably, both of us in front of them all. Her father's face was thunder. I did not care. I unwound the cord from my wrist and let it fall. Then I went through the side door into the snow to find my mate. The courtyard was empty, but for hoofprints already filling with white. A stable boy told me the healer had asked for a horse an hour past, quiet, saying only that she was needed at Farwater, a small pack 4 days north, poor and far, where their old healer had died and no one would go. She had volunteered before the rite began. She had known. Somehow she had known what I would feel before I felt it, and she had chosen not to stand in the church and watch me learn it too late. She had gone to serve strangers rather than wait on a man who had nearly wed another woman with her, standing 10 feet away. I understood then exactly what I had done, and I understood that I had no right at all to chase her down and expect to be forgiven for it. But I could not go. I gave Greyharrow to my steward's keeping. I took no guard, no banner, no crown, nothing that would let me arrive as a king who summons. I rode north alone, and the cold went into my bones, and I deserved every mile of it. Farwater was a huddle of gray longhouses under a mountain, its palisade half fallen, its people lean. I came to the gate at dusk on the 4th day and asked for the healer, and they looked at my plain cloak and my tired horse and did not know me for anyone at all, which was as it should be. They let me in because I said I had come to work. Ewan was in the sick house, her sleeves pushed back, pressing a poultice to a fevered child's chest. She looked up. Her face did not soften and it did not break. It simply closed the way a door closes that has decided. "You should not have come," she said. "I know," I answered. "I'm not here to take you back. I'm here to be near you if you'll let me, and to leave the moment you say the word." She said the word. She said go. And I bowed my head and went out to the barn and slept in the straw, and in the morning I did not leave. I split their firewood instead. There was a great deal of it, and I was strong, and no one at Farwater had ever seen an alpha king swing an axe from dawn to dark without once asking to be thanked. That was how I courted her. Not with jewels or with the weight of my name, both of which had failed to see her the first time. I mended the palisade. I hunted for the widow house at the end of the row and left the meat without knocking. I carried water for the old, and I held the leg of a screaming man while Ewan set it, and my hands did not shake, and afterward she looked at me a moment longer than she had the day before. My wolf strained toward her every hour. The bond that had struck me at the altar had not dimmed with distance or with time. It burned steady, a coal under my ribs, pulling always toward wherever in the little pack she stood. But I held it leashed. I had learned too late and at too high a price that a bond is not a claim. It is a question, and she had not yet answered. There were nights I could have used the truth of it against her. I could have let her feel the pull the way I felt it, could have told her that fate itself had already decided, and her own body would betray her if she let me close enough. Alphas had done as much for less. I did not. To have won her that way would have been only another kind of not seeing, another man's hand forced into hers. If she came to me, she would come with her eyes open, knowing exactly the man she was choosing and exactly the woman he had once overlooked. So I waited. I chopped wood and mended fence and stitched wounds beside her, and I let the bond ache in silence, and I did not spend a single word of it to hurry her. Weeks turned, the child with the fever lived. Farwater's people stopped watching me sidelong and started saving me a place at their fire. And Ewan began to speak to me in the small hours when the sick house was quiet of things that were not medicine, of her mother, a healer before her, of the 4 winters at Greyharrow when she had loved me from across every hall and told no one, least of all herself. She said it plainly, without hope in it, as a thing finished. I did not reach for her. I only listened, and let her see that I would have crossed the world to hear it. "You nearly married her," she said one night. It was not an accusation. It was the wound itself laid open. "I did," I said. "I looked at everything except the one thing that mattered, and I nearly gave my life to the wrong hand, and the only mercy in it is that the bond woke before the vow and not after. I will spend the rest of my days sorry for the years I did not see you. But I did not come here to be forgiven, Ewan. I came because there is no version of my life worth living that does not have me nearby while you decide whether you want me in it. That decision is yours. It was always yours. I took it from you once by never asking. I will not take it again." She was quiet a long time. The fire ticked. "Then ask," she said. So I did. I knelt in the straw and the ash of that poor packed sick house, a king with cut hands and no crown, and I did not ask her to be my Luna or to strengthen my line or to bind Farwater to Greyharrow. I asked her only this, that she let me stand at her side while she healed the world and carry her bags up mountains, and split the firewood of every far pack she was ever called to serve, for as long as she would have me and not 1 hour longer. I vowed I would build her a proper sick house here at Farwater with my own hands before the winter broke, whether or not she chose me, because these people were hers now, and what was hers I would tend. That was the vow, not a throne, a roof for her sick and her poor, raised by the man who had nearly not deserved to raise it. She looked at me, and at last the closed door in her face opened, and behind it was everything she had carried alone for 4 winters and had never let me see. "Come here," she said. I came, and when her hand rose and settled against my jaw, chosen freely on her own terms and no one's duty, the bond I had denied so long reasserted itself all at once, and it did not strike like a blade this time. It settled warm like a thing coming home to the place it should have been from the first. My wolf went utterly still under her palm. Her thumb traced the mate mark rising silver at my throat, the mark that should have burned for her years ago and now, finally, could. "You'll build the sick house," she said against my shoulder, half a laugh, half a threat. "Every board," I promised. "And the one after that, wherever you go." We did not go back to Greyharrow that winter. We stayed at Farwater and raised the sick house first, plank by plank, my hands and hers, and I learned that a crown weighs nothing next to the trust of a woman you failed and were somehow permitted to earn. She chose me a second time in the spring, before her own pack, when the roof was finished and the sick lay warm beneath it. She chose me freely, and I have never in my life been so honored by a single word as I was by the one she gave me then. I had stood at an altar with the wrong hand in mine and nearly lost her forever. I spend every day since making certain the right hand never has cause to let mine go.